Can you say or elaborate on what you saw in detail?
Yes. So they have you sign a confidentiality, just that you're not going to record it,
Hmm.
because they have great sensitivity to the victims' families, which is understandable. But I do think there is an argument of balancing that's going on here that we can talk about. But I have seen a lot of this already because I was covering it in real time and we were in Israel and the videos were coming through and we were on all these sites, and we had our own sources. However, I was, and I think others in the room were profoundly affected by what they saw. For me, there was something that I was mildly aware of, but I didn't understand the extent and the impact of one particular aspect. So a lot of this is what you would expect as a horror, right? Point of view of people firing on people, killing innocent people, bragging about it, mutilating their bodies, dragging them around. There is a lot of extracurricular activity going on. There were three waves: Hamas, the satellite or ancillary terrorist groups that heard about it and joined, and then just angry, hostile Palestinians. And I'm trying to choose my words very carefully because there is no upside to any of this conversation. People take from it what they want, and they'll say, as they're hearing these words, people will say, "Oh yeah, well now go do Gaza." I'm not saying that there isn't horror in Gaza. We know there is. We know it has to stop. However, the fact that there were so many non-Hamas warriors involved will be surprising. The fact that there was such celebration in the streets of Gaza and desecration of the dead, and there was planning for that. You hear the voices saying, "Let the people play with him. Let the people play with her. Let the people play with it," meaning the dead. Okay? That is very impactful. Then there was what really affected me, which was, on top of all the horrible things of watching people hunted and killed, mm-hmm. If you were to send a message to Israel that was guaranteed to make them want to go to war, the message would be to grab innocent children, women, families, and other non-soldier males, tie them up, and burn them alive. That would be what would understandably check every box of paranoia, mm-hmm. outrage, fear, self-protection. And that's what they did at large scale, which I did not appreciate before today. I had seen bodies. It's not the first time I've seen that. But to see the rope on burned small and female bodies, a lot of them, I think conveys what is fueling the Israeli sentiment of never go back. I didn't understand that until it was explained to me today the way it was. I always just assumed it was like us saying never forget, mm-hmm. After 9/11. Powerful. They see this as a direct signal of another Holocaust. And that's why they're so enraged by comparisons about genocidal intent. Mm-hmm. Because this was absolutely by plan genocidal. They celebrate killing Jewish people, and some of them probably weren't Jewish.
Well, right. There were Thai workers, or Thai farmers.
Yeah, and a lot of them are Arab and Muslim. You know, over 20% of Israel is non-Jewish, and a lot of Jews don't look like me. You know, they're not white. They're brown. So you have a lot of diversity within the country relatively. And these people, the excitement that these terrorists and murderers had, how excited they were, bragging to their families. Daddy, Abba, your son is a hero. I killed 10 with my own hands. I killed a woman and her husband. I killed. And they're crying, the parents. It really conveyed the depth of the pain and the fear of the Israeli people. Now, I know that people will hear these words and say, well, but what they've done in response. I'm not comparing. Mm-hmm. I'm not addressing for the sake of what I saw its relative impact, what's proportionate, what's allowable, what's reasonable, all of those legitimate things that we're all struggling with. They're real, and it has to stop. But I went there today not to see the video because I thought it would be things I had already seen. I went there to make an argument that they should release it because I believe that there are too many people who see this as a tit for tat. Yeah. And I don't believe that that's a fair assessment of the Israeli perspective. After seeing it and listening to the argument, I still think people should see it. However, there is something that absolutely can be soul-staining about it. I mean, about a lot of these images. How many dead children have you seen? I mean, it's just a nightmare. But there's also the argument that there's enough that has been seen already that if you don't want to believe that this justifies the pain and outrage of Israel, then nothing will change that. The only thing I'd push back on is if you know anything about the Israeli experience and the Holocaust, it is so obvious. You know, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamist extremists who commit acts of terror are not known for burning people alive, okay? I've covered this in a lot of different parts of the world. This was a plan for a specific message to Israel. And they left that message everywhere they could, and they celebrated it. And I didn't appreciate that until I saw it at scale the way they showed it to us today.